Hi and welcome to the channel if you're new, and welcome back if you're not. In this instalment you get to watch me getting stung by nettles, kind of a little bit on purpose. But before anyone asks, yes, I am actually getting stung in this. Well, it's a stinging nettle, you know, it's kind of in the name really. But yeah, they're only minimal stings. For those of you that are new to the channel, I recently did a bushcraft qualification, level 2. So this is one of the tips from that particular course. There's actually a compound inside nettles that actually neutralises the sting. So a nettle has the ability to sting you and fix you at the same time. So as you can see here, what I'm basically doing is rubbing one of the leaves together in my hands to get the juices out, and those juices then neutralise my stings. Obviously there's other ways of curing the stings. You've got dot leaves, plantain, cleavers, so on and so forth. It might seem a little bit counterintuitive to use a stinging nettle leaf, but basically the juices will cancel that out pretty much straight away, so you're fine afterwards. Once the leaves are off, I'll just continue to clean up the stem. Once that's done, it's just a case of battening it. It's just basically to break the inner woody part, paying a little bit more attention to where the leaf stems come off. You usually find a ring around there that's usually a little bit tougher, so you might have to go over that a couple of times. Now all I'm doing is I'm separating it with my thumb, and what that does is it usually separates it into 4 separate sections. At the moment it'll still seem like there's just one section until you snap it in half and start removing the fibres. Then you'll notice that there's 4 separate strands of fibres. Now it's time to remove the fibres. As you've just seen there, I bend it to snap it, and then I push up slightly, and that basically separates the fibres from the woody part. Then I just use a combination of pulling in opposite directions while holding the fibres and the woody stem, and that usually releases the fibres quite easy. For this part, I pull the fibres down whilst pushing the hard stem upwards, and that again releases the fibres. Same as last time, pulling the strands one way, pulling the wood the opposite way, making sure that I'm taking all the wood off at the same time. You may still get a couple of little pieces of the woody part still stuck to it, so either remove them now whilst you're doing it or remove them later after it's dried a little. It's up to you. Personally, I prefer to remove them whilst it's still wet. That smack there was because I was being attacked by a horsefly, but I am wearing dark colours and it does attract them, so you know, I kind of did that to myself. Now I'm just separating the fibres into 4 equal strands, roughly the same width if you can. If not, it doesn't really matter, you can always add an extra piece in to make it a little bit thicker later. Now that I've separated all the fibres, it's time to let them dry for a while and let the shrinkage take place. You can make cordage now, but once shrinkage actually happens, your cordage will come loose. So best to dry them a little first. After letting them dry a little, I moved locations just to get away from those horseflies. So yeah, starting off with a single strand this time, not dual like the other videos. Like in the previous video, I grabbed the strand, one hand twist one way, the other hand twist the opposite way until it kinks like it just has done. I grab the kink in one hand, then with my other hand I twist the top fibres away from myself and use my finger to hook the other one back up to the top, and then rinse and repeat, just like on the other videos. You know, once you've got this technique down, it's pretty repetitive and simple, but it can be used for a wide range of things. Just as a reminder, always start off staggered. You know one side longer than the other, so that later, like now, when you need to add an extra strand in, all the weak points aren't in the same place and your cordage keeps its strength. Again, to add a new piece, just line it up with the short end, leaving about 2 inches on both the short one and the long one that you're adding in, and just basically twist them together and continue. This particular method that I'm using now is the same method that I'd use if I was creating a fishing line. I'm starting off with very thin fibres, and then slowly as I'm building it, I'll make it thicker and thicker. I'm not going to bore you with making the whole thing, but then once you've finished, you just tie an overhand knot in the end, like I'm doing here, and then take off all the straggly ends from the pieces that you've put in, or you can leave them on. It's entirely up to you. Just before I forget, if you want to make your cordage thicker while you're doing it, so you're going from the thin to thicker and thicker and thicker, basically just twist in more fibres. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Just twist in more fibres. Make sure that you keep them level on both sides, otherwise one will wrap around the other and that'll make for a weaker cordage. So the thin end first, and then slowly as we move up, I make it thicker and thicker. Just in case you actually need rope, you twist it the same way you've already twisted it until it kinks once again. Same as before, you twist the top strand, hook your finger under and pull the bottom one above. Rinse and repeat. You'd use this if you needed some extra strong cordage, because by doing this you're changing it from just a normal 2-ply cordage to an actual 4-ply cordage. So you can imagine the kind of strength that you'd be gaining from doing this. Obviously, you'd need a lot more nettles to make any, substantial length, but it is possible. From here, basically, the sky's the limit. You can even make 6-ply cordage by doing 3 sets of 2-ply and then plaiting it, So depending on how thick you want your cordage, the sky's the limit. So that brings us to the end of this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. If you know anyone that you think might benefit from this kind of knowledge, feel free to share the video with them also. And I'll probably catch you on the next one. See you later.